I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I was supposed to marry Olivia next week. We'd been together for about 3 years, and honestly, I thought we had a good thing going. She's smart, beautiful, funny. At least that's what I used to think, and I was ready to spend my life with her. Things weren't perfect, sure, but I believed in us. Or at least I did until I started noticing little weird things. Texts that disappeared faster than I could read them, her being busy at odd hours, and excuses about having to stay late at work when I know her boss is a total jerk and wouldn't give her those hours unless she begged for them. It all started to feel off about 2 weeks ago, right around the time she started acting more distant. She'd snap at me for no reason, brush off my questions, and sometimes even get annoyed when I tried to cuddle or have a serious talk. But I figured maybe she was stressed about the wedding or work was just piling up. She always said she loved me, though, and I clung to that, convincing myself that I was just overthinking. I mean, what else could it be? I trusted her. I had no reason not to. But then last night everything changed. I was lying in bed scrolling through my phone, trying to unwind after a long day, and I saw a notification pop up. It was a screenshot from her, an image of a chat, and I swear my stomach sank right to the floor. The message was from a guy I'd never met, but the date and time were recent. They were talking about meeting up and doing it, and she was calling him babe and saying she couldn't wait for the sex. I stared at that screen like I'd been hit by a truck. I blinked, wondering if I was hallucinating, but no, there it was. Olivia had sent me a screenshot of her own secret messages with another man, and she had no idea I'd seen it. How the hell did I miss all this? I thought I knew her. I thought she knew me. And yet here I was, looking at proof that she'd been cheating on me with someone I'd never even heard of. The worst part, she was so casual about it, like it was nothing, like she didn't care that I'd see it. I felt betrayed, angry, hurt all at once. My mind raced, trying to process how she could lie so effortlessly, how she could hide this entire affair behind her perfect smile and her "I love yous." And then I started to wonder, how long has this been going on? Was I just blind? Or was I fooling myself into thinking everything was fine because I didn't want to face the truth? I didn't sleep last night. I just sat there staring at that damn screenshot, feeling like my entire world was crumbling. She kept sending me those fake "I love you" texts, and I just couldn't believe I'd been so stupid. I kept asking myself, how could she do this? How could she lie so easily? And what was I supposed to do now? I was supposed to marry her in a week. We'd already sent out the invitations, booked the venue, and I'd even picked out her dress. And now all I could see was this dark, ugly betrayal staring back at me. Honestly, I felt like I was losing my mind. The morning after I found that screenshot, I knew I couldn't just brush it off or pretend it was some sick joke. I had to confront her. I didn't want to, but I also didn't see any other choice. I waited until she was back from her late shift, which I already knew was a lie. She came home looking annoyed, as usual, like I was bothering her with my questions. But this time I didn't hold back. I showed her the message on my phone, the one she had accidentally sent me. Her face immediately stiffened, her eyes narrowing with that bitchy look she always used when she was about to lie her way out of something. She looked at me like I was some kind of idiot for catching her so stupidly. She tried to brush it off, saying, "Oh, that's nothing, Mike. You're just overthinking it. It's just some stupid joke, I swear. You know how guys are always trying to mess around. I was just joking around with him, that's all." She smirked like she thought I was gullible enough to buy her bullshit. I wasn't buying it, not even close. I asked her point blank if she'd been cheating on me with this guy, and her response was a sneer. "Look, I don't know what your problem is. You're just jealous because I spend more time with my friends than I do with you. Besides, I told you I was stressed, right? Maybe you're just paranoid. Chill out, Mike. It's not like I've been sleeping with him or anything. You're blowing this way out of proportion." She kept lying, insisting she didn't do anything wrong. But I could see the flicker of guilt behind her eyes, the way she avoided my gaze, and I knew she was full of shit. I felt my blood boiling. How could she lie so effortlessly? How could she look me in the face and deny everything after I just caught her red-handed? I wanted to scream, but instead, I just asked her how long this had been going on. She paused for a second, then gave me some bullshit about a few weeks, trying to make it sound like a careless fling. But I knew better. This wasn't some thing that just started. It was months, maybe longer. I could feel the ground shifting beneath me. Like I was falling into some dark abyss I couldn't escape from. My mind was a mess of confusion, rage, and heartbreak all at once. And then she had the audacity to cry, to pretend she was the victim. "You're so controlling," she snapped. "You never trust me and you're just making things worse. I told you it's nothing. I love you, Mike. I don't know why you're acting like this." That's when I realized how manipulative she could be, how she could turn her lies into some kind of twisted act of victimhood. It made me sick. I knew then I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay, not anymore. That entire day, I felt like I was living in some nightmare I couldn't wake up from. Every little thing she said, every excuse just made me angrier. I kept thinking about the trust we had, all the promises she made, and how she just threw them away like they meant nothing. I didn't understand how someone could lie so easily, how someone could betray everything we'd built, and then try to turn it around on me like I was the problem. All I kept asking myself was, why would she do this to me? What did I do wrong? But deep down, I knew the answer was simple. She didn't love me. She wanted something else or someone else. And now I was left standing here, dumped with nothing but a shattered heart and a million unanswered questions. That night was the worst of my life. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't think straight. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her smile, her lies, her sneering face. I kept replaying that damn screenshot in my head, trying to find some reason, some justification for what she did, but there was none. Just pure, cold betrayal. The worst part was the way she acted, like she hadn't done anything wrong, like I was the one overreacting. That made it clear she'd been planning this for a while. I started to notice more things over the next couple of days. Her phone constantly buzzing with new messages, her staying late, even more often, her being defensive whenever I brought up the wedding plans or our future. She'd snap at me, call me paranoid, accuse me of not trusting her, and then claim she loved me so much. She'd never do anything to hurt me, but I could see right through that. She was hiding something, and I knew what it was. Then came the moment, the one I'd been dreading but also preparing for internally. I decided I couldn't let her keep lying to me anymore. She was lying about the affair, about her feelings, about everything. I needed to hear the truth from her own mouth, even if I already knew what she'd say. So I sat her down again, this time more determined, more angry. "Olivia," I said, voice tight, "I want to know the truth. How long has this been going on? Be honest with me now, because I swear if I find out you're lying, if you're cheating on me with anyone else, I will not be able to forgive you." She looked at me with that smug, bitchy smirk, and for a second I thought she was going to deny everything again. But then she sighed, rolled her eyes, and finally admitted, "Okay, yeah, it's been a few months. I didn't want to tell you because I knew you'd freak out. But I didn't think you'd find out like this. I was going to leave you, honestly. I was tired of pretending everything was fine." That hit me like a punch in the gut. A few months, she'd been lying to my face for that long. Part of me wanted to scream, to shout at her for being such a manipulative, selfish bitch. But another part just felt numb, numb and broken. I couldn't believe I'd let myself be so blind, so stupid. I thought I knew her, but I was just some fool in her game. The thing that cut the deepest wasn't even the cheating itself. It was her attitude. How she acted like she was the victim, like I was the one overreacting. Like she was entitled to do whatever she wanted, and I was just supposed to accept it because I was supposedly lucky to have her. No, she had it wrong. I wasn't some idiot who'd keep taking her crap. That's when I realized I had to do something. I couldn't just let her walk all over me and pretend it was okay. I had to think about what I wanted, what I deserved. So I decided I wasn't going to stay with her. Not anymore. I told her I needed space, told her I didn't want to see her again until I had time to think, until I knew what I truly needed to do. She tried to guilt-trip me, called me crazy, said she loved me and begged for forgiveness. But I knew it was too late for that. She'd broken something inside me that I don't think I'll ever get back. That night, I stayed up again, staring at the ceiling, trying to process how I'd let someone I loved turn out to be this manipulative, selfish person. and deep down I knew I had to move on, no matter how much it hurt. The days that followed felt like walking through a fog. Every morning I woke up with that hollow feeling in my chest, like a part of me was missing. I couldn't shake the image of her lying, sneering, or trying to manipulate the truth. It was like I had been hit with a ton of bricks, and every time I thought I was starting to recover, something new popped into my head. Another memory, another lie she told, another piece of evidence I missed. I started to see just how much of her act was built on lies. She was bitchy, manipulative, and completely self-absorbed. Every excuse she threw at me was a part of her game to keep me calm, keep me from leaving, keep me from seeing her for what she really was. I remembered how she'd say she loved me, how she'd cry and pretend to be the victim, all while sneaking around with this guy. Honestly, I began to hate her for it. I hated how she made me feel like I was crazy, like I was imagining things, when all along she was the one lying, cheating, and playing me. One night I decided to dig deeper. I knew she'd been hiding something, so I hacked into her social media accounts. Yeah, I know, I probably shouldn't have, but I was desperate. And what I found made my stomach turn even more. She'd been talking to this guy, Alex, nonstop for months. They had secret chats, plans to meet up, even talk about the sex they'd have when she was free. I saw threads where she called him my secret, and he was calling her babe, honey, and even my girl. It was right. There proof she'd been lying the entire time, hiding her affair from everyone, including me. Seeing all of that was a punch to the gut. I felt rage and heartbreak all at once. How could she do this? How could she lie so effortlessly? I looked at the messages and I could feel my fists clenching. I trusted her more than anyone, and she treated that trust like crap. I sat there for a long time, staring at the screen, feeling like my world was collapsing again. I kept wondering if I was just a fool to believe in her in the first place. Maybe I was stupid to think she was worth fighting for. That night, I decided I'd had enough. I was done with her manipulations, done with the lies, done with pretending everything was okay. I knew I had to get out, but I also wanted to hurt her the way she'd hurt me, if not more. I started to plan my revenge. Not in some violent way, but in a way that would make her feel what I was feeling now, betrayed, humiliated, and powerless. I needed her to understand that her actions had consequences, that she couldn't get away with lying and cheating like it was some game. So I began gathering everything I'd need, copies of the messages, screenshots, plans to expose her. I wanted her to see that I wasn't some pushover, that I could fight back. I also started thinking about how I'd tell our friends, how I'd make her regret lying to everyone, especially me. I wanted her to feel the weight of her betrayal, see how her lies had destroyed everything we built. Because at this point, I knew one thing for sure. She wasn't the woman I thought I loved. She was just a manipulative, selfish bitch who thought she could get away with anything. Well, I was about to show her she couldn't. The plan started to take shape in my mind, and honestly, it felt good to finally have some control again after feeling so powerless for so long. I knew I needed to strike hard and fast, but also carefully. I had to make her see that I wasn't just some fool to be played. I was going to make her regret ever crossing me. First, I decided I'd confront her one last time, but this time with everything laid out, proof of her lies, her affair, her manipulations. I wanted her to see that I knew the truth, that I had evidence, and that I wasn't going to be her fool anymore. When she came home that evening, I was waiting in the living room. I didn't say much at first. I just pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshots, the chat logs, the secret messages with Alex. Her face instantly twisted with anger, then panic. She tried to deny, to lie again, but I wasn't having it. I threw the evidence in her face and told her, I know everything. All the lies, all the cheating, I've seen enough. You've been screwing around on me for months and you think you can just walk away like nothing happened. Her eyes darted around, trying to find some way out, some excuse to spin this into my fault. That was the moment I decided to turn the tables. I told her I was done, done with her lies, her manipulation, her game. I said I'd be exposing everything to our friends, to her family, and even to her boss if I had to. I wanted her to feel the full weight of what she'd done. I wasn't just going to walk away quietly. I was going to make sure she understood she'd lost everything she ever wanted. She started crying, begging me to forgive her, saying she loved me, that it was just a mistake, but I didn't buy any of it. My heart was already shattered. I didn't need more lies. Over the next few days, I followed through with my plan. I shared the evidence with our close friends, with her family, and even sent a few screenshots to her boss. The reactions were exactly what I expected: shock, disgust, and betrayal. I watched her carefully, seeing how her perfect facade crumbled. She tried to spin stories, lie her way out of it, but the truth was out now, and there was no way to hide from it anymore. The humiliation she tried to mask with bitchy attitude and lies was finally exposed to everyone around her. And the aftermath? It was brutal. Olivia's reputation took a hit, and she was left scrambling to save what little she could. Meanwhile, I felt like I'd been freed from a nightmare I'd been living in for months. It hurt bad. I felt angry, betrayed, and honestly, kind of relieved. I never wanted to be that guy who loved to cheat, who got played for a fool, but that's exactly what happened. Now I was just trying to pick up the pieces of my broken heart and move forward, knowing I'd dodged a huge bullet. But it hurt more than I can say, knowing I'd lost someone I thought was the one. This experience has changed me forever. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that trust is fragile, something you have to protect, and when it's gone, it's almost impossible to get back. I'm not perfect, but I know I'll never let someone manipulate me that way again. And for anyone out there going through something similar, trust your instincts, keep your eyes open, and don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, nobody deserves to be played for a fool. Looking back now, I realize that this whole ordeal has changed me in ways I never expected. I used to believe in fairy tale endings, in the idea that love was enough to get through anything. But betrayal like this, it strips away all the illusions you hold onto. I've learned that trust isn't something you take for granted. It's something you have to earn and protect every single day. I won't pretend I'm completely healed. Those wounds run deep, and sometimes the pain still creeps in when I least expect it. But I also know one thing for sure: I'm stronger than I thought. I've been through betrayal, heartbreak, and a gut-wrenching loss of what I thought was forever. And I survived. More than that, I've come out of it with a sharper sense of who I am and what I deserve. No more settling. No more putting up with bullshit from anyone, especially not someone who lies and cheats behind my back. To anyone reading this who might be in a similar situation, I'll tell you what I wish someone had told me. Trust your gut. Don't ignore the little signs, because they add up. When something feels off, it probably is. And if you catch someone lying, don't second-guess yourself. Confront it, face it head on, and don't let someone manipulate your feelings into second-guessing your own judgment. Because, ultimately, your happiness and self-respect are worth more than any relationship that's built on lies. I still have questions. Why did she do it? Was I not enough? But I've come to accept that some things are beyond understanding. People cheat, lie, and betray because they're selfish or broken in some way. And sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away and rebuild yourself. That's what I'm doing now. So I'm focusing on my job, my friends, and trying to find some semblance of peace again. I'm not bitter. I'm just cautious now. I know better than to think love is a fairy tale, and I've learned that honesty and respect come first. Olivia taught me that the hard way, but I'm grateful for the lesson. It's made me realize my worth, and that I'll never let anyone treat me like that again. Trust is fragile, yes, but it's also something I'll only give to someone deserving from now on. And I hope anyone else going through this remembers that too.